Hi friends, welcome back to Parnika tutorials. In this video, I want to discuss how to pass the methods as props in React. So I sincerely request everyone to watch the complete video for better understanding. In the earlier videos, we have seen how a parent component can pass props to child component. So from the parent component we can pass the props to the child component. Any data in the parent component when passed as props will be available in the child component or the children component. If a child component wants to communicate with the parent component, we need to use the props. So from the parent component, if you want to pass any data, you can use the props. Similarly, if a child component wants to pass any data to the parent component, we still use the props. In this video, I want to discuss how to pass a reference to the methods as a props to the child component. So to do that one, I will go to the Visual Studio. In the Visual Studio components, I will create a new file and keep the name of the file as parent.js. In the parent.js, I will use a React snippet RCE to create a class component. So I will type RCE and press enter. Now you can see we have created a class component called parent. Let me remove this export keyword. In the component, I will add a constructor using the React snippet. So before the render method, I will type the rconst, which is useful for you to create a constructor. So before the render method, I just type rconst, press enter. Now we have added a constructor. In the constructor, we set a state called parent name with the value as parent. So I will write parent name is the state. For that state, I will provide the value as parent. So I will write the column and within the single quotes I will pass parent. Next I am going to define a method called greetParent which simply alerts hello followed by the parent name which is set in the state. So before the render method I will define one method called greetParent and I want to use the alert and then I will provide hello plus for concatenation. Then I will write this dot state dot parent name. You look at this one. It is giving hello. This dot state dot parent name. So it will give hello parent. So we are using the plus for concatenation. This is fine. But since we are using the JavaScript ESX, I would like to use the template literals. So instead of using the regular concatenation, we are going to have backticks. The backticks will be there right below the escape key in the keyboard. I will modify the code in the alert. Instead of using the regular concatenation, I will use the backticks. So I will write hello and then I will write the dollar curly braces and then I will write this dot state dot parent name. Backticks and dollar curly braces is a feature in JavaScript ES6. It is not a feature specific to the React. We are using this keyword in the method. We need to bind it. In the last video, I have discussed how can we bind the handlers in React in 4 ways. Out of that one, I told you one of the famous method or one of the method which is there in the React document is binding the event handler in the constructor. So I will use that method to bind it. So in the constructor, I will write this dot greetParent is equal to this dot greetParent and then I will write bind and then I will use this. Let me save this one. Now in the components, I will create another file called child.js. Let me have a new file. I will have the name of the file as child and with an extension called js. Let me press enter. Now I want to create a one functional component. If I want to create one functional component using the React snippet, I need to type RFCE. Let me press enter. Now you can see we have created one functional component called child. Inside the div tag, I want to create a one button with a name called greet parent. So I will have one button open tag and the close tag. Inside that one, I will have some text as greet parent. So value in the button is greet parent. In the parent.js, I will include the child component in the render method. So I will go to the parent.js. In the render method, inside the div tag, I will have the self-closing tag called child. And also I need to import the child in the parent.js. So how I need to write? I need to write import child from, let me save this parent.js. Let me save the child.js. In the app.js, I will include the parent component in the render method. So in the app.js, instead of having the event bind, I will have the parent one and then I need to import. So how I need to import? Import parent from components. I will write parent. Let me save this one. Now let me go to the terminal, new terminal, and then I will write cd example1 and then I will write npm start. Now you can see we have a button called greet parent. If I click on this one, nothing is happening because we does not give an event handler. So if someone clicks on this greet parent button, I want to execute the method defined in the parent component, which is parent.js. Basically, the child component calls a method in the parent component. This can be achieved using the props. The only difference this time is we have passed the method itself as a props to the child component. So in the parent.js, in the render method, I will add the child component greet handler is equal to this dot greet parent. So in parent.js render method, in the child self-closing tag, I will write greet handler is equal to curly braces and then I will write this dot greet parent, close the curly braces. In the child.js, in the button, I will have on click event. So I will write on click is equal to open the curly braces. I will write props dot greet handler and then I need to pass the props. Now let me save the child.js, parent.js, app.js. Now, if I go to the browser and click on this button called greet parent, now you can see we got the output as hello parent, which is an alert message. So we have successfully called a method in the parent component from a button in the child component by passing the method as props to the child component. Let me click on OK and let me go to the Visual Studio. Now I will discuss how to pass a parameter when calling the parent method from the child component, and this is where an arrow function in the return statement is really useful. Now you can see in the child.js we have a button. Once we are clicking that button, we are calling a method called greet handler, which is there in the parent.js. Let's see how to pass a parameter when calling the parent method from the child component, and this is where an arrow function in the return statement is really useful. Arrow function syntax is the simplest way to pass parameters from the child component to the parent component. In the child component, if I provide any parameters that I want to pass to the parent component. So in the child.js, let me convert the onClick handler to an arrow function. So let me remove this one. In place of this, I will have an arrow function. So onClick is equal to curly braces, and then I will use the arrow operator, and then I will write props dot greet handler. Now we can pass any number of parameters in the greet handler. Let's pass one parameter which is a string called child. So here I will provide a string called child. Let me save this one. In the parent.js, in greet parent method, we are going to receive a parameter called child name. So in greet parent, I will provide the parameter name as child name, and then I will write here from dollar, open the curly braces, I will provide the parameter name as child name, close the curly braces. Now let me save the parent.js, child.js, app.js. Let me go to the browser. Let me click on this button called greet parent. Now you can see we got the output as hello parent from child. If you want to see the difference, here instead of providing the string as child, I will provide the string as Parnika tutorials. Let me save the child.js, parent.js, app.js. Let me go to the browser and let me click on this button called greet parent. Now you can see we got the output as hello parent from Parnika tutorials. I hope you have understood how to pass the methods as props. If you still have any doubts related to this concept, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.